Here's the truth of the matter. The only way you learn is by making mistakes. We don't live that long, so why would you do a job you hate? If I'm broke working, like, I want to work for myself. I don't want to work for somebody else. So yeah, I got a year lease. It was just a little shop.
What motivates you every day to know that you chose the right thing?
Especially when you work for yourself. It's like there's a lot of self-doubt there, whether you say it or not. It's like, did I do the right thing? For me, my family is a big motivator for me to be successful. I think there's so many people that they pursue success. They do such a good job with their businesses and they come home and they're a failure.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think you got to have balance. I'd like to get to the point to where people are like, you know what, I'm going to go visit a Japanese guitar company. Like I'm going to go visit one of the biggest collections of vintage Japanese guitars in North America. Long term is like, how do I build that regional pull?
Welcome back to the NEI Pioneer Podcast. This podcast showcases and shares the people and the stories in Northeast Indiana. David Geders joins our host, Jonathan Sackett, to discuss all things music and business. David is the owner of Chord Music in Huntington, Indiana. He also recently just took over operations at Japanese Guitar Company, which is North America's largest inventory of vintage Japanese guitars. In today's episode, we hear about David's experience touring with the band in his younger years, why he started his business, and what keeps him motivated as an entrepreneur. All that and more in today's episode. Take it away, Jonathan.
David Geders, I'm so happy to have you here. It's so funny because we were introduced virtually by Mayor Strick, the mayor of Huntington.
Yes. I love Mayor Strick. Mm-hmm. Hang out with him outside of work whenever possible. Yeah. And as soon as anybody he's ever introduced me to is always a good person. So okay, well, let's see if that continues to be the case.
Let's see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if you got the chops. We're gonna find out. So David is the founder and owner of Chord Music and owner of Japanese Guitar Company, which I really want to get into. Yeah. Before we get into any of this, we were just talking prior to the show about the YouTube channel. I want to know what you're doing with that.
Okay, well, it's really new. So I just started in September of last year. So what is that? Maybe half a year. And it's really new for me. Like, it's a completely different challenge, and that's what I like about it. As a business owner and entrepreneur, I find I get bored doing the same thing, so I'm always trying to expand. Mm-hmm. And so with the channel, it's called Guitars in the Bank. Shameless plug.
Guitars. Oh, that's because of the bank.
Guitars in the Bank, because I'm in a bank building.
Yep, that's right.
Yep. So anyways, it kind of blends guitar repair and the interesting, crazy Japanese guitars we get in the store. But yeah, I mean, like, we're still just kind of growing it and starting it. So it's kind of been a fun little challenge.
I get it. YouTube is like our not so secret weapon. I mean, it is for a lot of verticals and a lot of companies. Mm-hmm. I think, thank God we've got Hannah, who's behind the camera again today, but and sometimes she's in front of the camera, but she's got YouTube figured out with our shorts and everything. Mm-hmm. It's not easy because, we got a tight budget. We're a nonprofit, so you don't have all that promotional money behind it. So you got to just hope for natural growth.
So I have to say a shout out to my guy that's doing this as well. His name's Caleb. He's a young kid, and so I think it's the younger people that understand YouTube a little bit better.
It is,
but he's got a Lego stop motion, so he's got it down.
Get out of here!
It's super cool.
The one thing that I really wanted to get into before we get into all of this was COVID. So how did you guys survive COVID?
It was a weird time. For me, I find almost every year I was reevaluating, where's the business at? Where am I going?
Yeah. Like everybody was, right?
Yeah. And I think if you're a smart business owner, you're always thinking, what's the next step? So before COVID even happened, my business was already going, like, pretty much 90% of my sales were online. So anyways, COVID happened, and I was already kind of leaning towards shortening the store hours. But I kind of just thought, when it happened, it just kind of made sense to just go online only. So for a period of like 4 to 5 years, I've been like just by appointment only, just sales. So it's been like very kind of a weird.
Oh, so you could have done virtual lessons, I guess, right?
Could have done virtual lessons. I don't know. It was a strange time trying to figure everything out. It kind of felt like there was a new norm that kind of came over everything. I mean, anyone that had been in business before COVID and then post COVID, it's just that everything changed. So yeah, I really just stuck with that for probably about a span of 4 years of just doing the online sales.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been different.
Before you created this store, before you created this brand, before you got into the Japanese guitars, which I am very interested in, by the way, and you met Jake, who's gonna hit you up on the way out to try to get a discount. Don't give him one.
Okay.
You toured with a band.
I did.
I want to hear about
this. For a short time. Okay, so To kind of give a setup, my whole life I was convinced I was going to be a touring musician. In fact, my freshman or sophomore year, I was in a business class and we were supposed to go around and say, okay, what profession are you planning on going into? And I was adamant. I'm like, I'm gonna be a rock star. I'm not doing any of this stuff. I'm just here because I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, so, I don't need that education.
So stuff. Yeah, of course, no one took me seriously. But after my junior year, going into my senior year of college, I was offered an opportunity to play in a touring band. And I'd already been listening to their music. Their music was awesome. It was like an angsty Christian rock band, kind of like Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, okay. What was the name of the band?
It's called Sons.
Like S-O?
S-O-N-S.
Okay.
Yeah. It used to be Sons of God, and they shortened it down after like 5 years and just called it Sons. So anyways, their longtime bassist had quit, and then one of the guitarists that had taken over a couple years before was a good friend of mine, still lives in Fort Wayne, and so he offered me the position to play bass in the band.
And bass is your thing?
Bass is my thing, yeah.
Okay.
And much to my parents' dismay, I chose to play bass guitar. They said, you could have picked any instrument, you picked the bass guitar, but it's because it's like one of the loudest instruments.
So did Geddy Lee, man.
That's
right?
true, yeah,
so,
right? So yeah, what the heck. I did that for a whole summer, and it was cool. I really love playing the shows. There's something really interesting about getting to play a show where people know your music already. Like, it's just kind of surreal. But I realized shortly that the road life's not for me.
Yeah.
And I think some people really like that, like living like a vagabond. I mean, you're kind of all over the place, and it was fun, but it's just like, I can't do this long term. Not for my mental capacity, couldn't handle it.
No.
And so I wanted to be, I knew I needed to be somewhere kind of anchored. And so I had one more year to graduate, and I was like, I should probably graduate. And then I was also dating my wife at the time. We weren't engaged, but I knew we were getting serious as well. So there were a lot of factors that I was kind of like, I'm glad I tried it, and I'm glad I know it's not for me.
How long did you pause the education?
Well, luckily it was over the summer. So by the end of the summer, I was able to say, it's not for me, and I jumped back in and finished my degree. So
yeah, I feel you on all that. I was in the music industry during college too.
Okay.
And
nice.
So I went to Minnesota. So I was recording with the Minnesota Sound.
Oh, wow.
So we were at Flight Time, which is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I was at Paisley Park.
Okay.
And then I did a bunch of touring too, but it was sporadic. But I hear what you mean. You got to be ready for that type of life, and living out of a bag. That's not easy.
Well, and the other thing that really struck me was like, you'd have these really cool conversations. Like after a show, a fan might come up and you might talk for like half an hour, and you get this really cool connection, but then you move on to the next place and it's like, I might never talk to that person again.
Yeah.
And it's cool in one sense, and the other sense, it's like, man, I don't have roots. And I think that's what I just wanted roots in something,
Yeah, I get it. But I think that was probably a natural transition then to the music store. So how did this come about? Because you can't just, especially young guy, not much money, I would assume.
Yeah.
You're in school, then you get out of school and you're like, okay, I'm going to start a music store.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I obviously graduated in 2013. And at the time, the job market was still pretty slow because that was kind of, the 2008 crash had happened. And so things were still kind of recovering. So there wasn't really many jobs. I actually had said I would never take a sales job. And then I worked at a mattress store in Fort Wayne. I won't mention names, but I worked there for a year. And it was a good learning experience, but I just knew I didn't want to stay there. And it was all commission based. And like, I'm not a salesperson. It's just not my personality. Like, I can have a good conversation.
I think you are, but I've
gotten better. But.
Well, no, I think so there's different levels and types. I've got friends who are in big sales for government stuff, and that's a different mindset. If you've got a good product, the good product will sell itself.
Well, and I think with the mattress sales, it just kind of felt like car salesman, and it's, I'm not trying to, if you're watching your car salesman, I'm not trying to say it's a bad job. It's just, it just has that kind of like, that feeling to it.
Yeah,
right?
I get it. But 100% commission?
Yeah. Well, basically, yeah. Because like, so you had
no draw, no nothing?
No draw. And the hard thing too was that we had, I'm sorry, I'm getting on a tangent here, but
no, go ahead.
We had we're
freestyling.
Okay, good. So we had warehouse workers that were supposed to take care of like loading and unloading the mattresses, and we'd have semis come in, and so like that's a paid position, but because we didn't have warehouse workers for a time, I'd have to come in on my days off and unload semis full of mattresses for no pay. I'm like, this almost seems like this should be illegal to do.
Yeah, what am I doing?
I don't know. And so anyway,
was the commission good?
No. Well, I mean, I guess it was good if you were a good salesman. But anyways, so yeah, like I did that for half a year, and I just told my wife, is like, if I'm gonna be broke working for like if I'm gonna be broke working, like I want to work for myself. I don't want to work for somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's when we got kind of sat down. She's like, well, like, what would you want to do? And I was like, I want to do something with music. So after a while, we kind of just came up with like, well, like, what if we move back to Huntington and we just do a music shop in Huntington? So yeah, so then it spent like a half a year of just kind of planning and like, how do we even do this? Like, I don't know how to run a business. Even though I got a business degree, it's just something about when you start something up, like
practical
how do you even
application.
do that? Yeah. So it was finding a spot. I actually found a spot next to Nick's Kitchen downtown. So just a little shotgun, 1,000
Everybody
square
knows
foot.
Nick's Kitchen.
Everybody
down there.
knows Nick's Kitchen. Yeah. And so I was there. I was actually renting from Gina Ann Bailey, the owner at the time of Nick's Kitchen. And so yeah, I got a year lease. It was just a little shop. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I got like a little loan for inventory. So I got some new guitar setups. I don't know.
I'm surprised that you didn't. Did you ever think of working for Sweetwater for a while to try to get?
I'm glad you said that. I did actually. So I applied to go to work at Sweetwater.
Did you get the job?
Well, no. So here's what happened.
Okay.
Because the whole thing is, and I don't know if it's the same now. You had to go through their catalog and have like a lot of it. I don't know if it's like memorized, but you had to be really familiar with their products. And so they have a really high standard as a business.
I know. Yeah.
And so I was going through the interview process. I got through like 2 or 3 different interviews, and I think I was getting kind of ramping up to the last one. And I had this weird realization, and it's nothing against Sweetwater. They're a super cool company, but the job I was applying for was sales, phone sales.
Sure.
And so I thought, if I take this job, I'm going to be in a cubicle taking 100 calls a day. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like,
no.
I don't think for me it was worth the money. And so I was like, so actually that was kind of intertwined with while we were trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was thinking about Sweetwater, but then I said, you know what? No, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm just going to try it. So.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. That was completely not staged.
No,
I did not know that. But I
did,
think Sweetwater. It's a tough job because I think they're mostly commissioned there. I think
probably.
Now
but the guys that do a good job do a really
I got to
good
tell
job.
you, they know their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they sponsor the show. All the equipment, I think, or at least 90% of it that we use in here is from Sweetwater.
It's honestly been a really big asset being close to Sweetwater.
Yeah,
it really has. I know some people might be like, "Oh, that'd be terrible." No, it's perfect. It's been awesome actually. So
yeah.
But,
and then when you were so you get out of the touring band, you decide to do this store, and you guys also give lessons there. Was that part of the original plan or never?
Yeah, so we did know we were going to do music lessons, and so actually I got my mom to come on and do piano lessons, which was super cool. A couple other guys.
Is that where you got
the
music from? Your mom?
So my mom and my dad.
Oh wow.
My dad actually is a music composer, and my mom's a piano major. So they're both like high level musicians.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, it's super cool. But so yeah, we did plan on doing lessons, and it was started out pretty small. And for that first year that we were in that original shop, we might have had 15, maybe 20 students. It was nothing crazy.
It's still a lot though.
Yeah, I mean, starting out, it was good. It was like, for me, any money was something. Because that was what I told my wife, is like, the worst case is we go bankrupt. Like, we have nothing. Like, this is the time to take a risk. Like, so yeah.
I'm glad you said that, though, because, when people view the show here, we run the gamut. We just had Mayor Tucker on. We were talking about that before from Fort Wayne, the current mayor of Fort Wayne. And it's funny because everybody, there's such a gamut of people who watch the show or listen to it, and people are always looking for advice, particularly people that are in college or up and coming. And I wonder what you would say to them, because you very flippantly said, go bankrupt. But what fear? There had to have been some fear in you, because okay, how much of a risk am I taking? You want to marry your then girlfriend, right? And you've got your parents helping you out. I mean, no fear?
I wouldn't say no fear, but I think it's just, maybe it was ignorance at the time of just like, I didn't know what I was doing.
Ignorance.
So yeah, happy ignorance.
Yeah.
I would say one of the best pieces of advice that I got is, funny enough, I found like this. His name is Alan Watts. There was a YouTube video I found. It was called "What Would You Do If Money Was No Object?" And I watched that over and over and over again.
Tough.
Yeah, and it's basically just saying, it's like, look, if you take a job that you hate, like, what are you even, like, why? Like, because that's the thing. At the end of the day, is you can make money doing anything. So why are you doing the job that you're doing? Like, why are you working with the company you're working for? Why do you feel the pressure from your parents? They're like, oh, well, you have to get this job because that's what's expected of you. So for me, it's like we don't live that long. So why would you do a job you hate?
What motivates you every day to know that you chose the right thing? I think motivation evolves or changes.
Yeah.
So was it different then than it is now?
I think it does change. Yeah. And I think just naturally changes. I'm going to advocate here for starting a family. I think that for me, my family is a big motivator for me to be successful. I think even just when I first started Chord, I may have not been as ambitious if I wasn't married at the time. I think for me, I felt the responsibility of
building. So you got married right at the beginning of this too?
I got married in 2013. So it was a year before starting Chord.
Dude,
you're a lot
taking on a lot.
It was a lot at once, but it was good. And I think because of that, again, I felt the responsibility again at the time of being a husband.
Yeah.
And then in 2016, we had we had our son in 2016.
You have 3 kids, right?
We have 3 kids. Yeah.
Wow.
So 2016, 2020, 2022. But anyways, so I think now what motivates me is like I want to prepare my family. I see my kids growing up, and is like I don't want them to fall into just the system as well. So I want them to be free thinkers. I want them to feel like they have opportunity to try what they want to do. And so I very much we homeschool, so we have the flexibility to be able to have our kids be involved in different things. And so for us, like, I have my kids come and work for a day, and like for a half a day they'll come in, and they're still pretty young, but like just being in the business and having that opportunity has been a good thing.
It's got to be, I put myself in your shoes. It almost seems like you put unneeded pressure on yourself and made it happen, but the pressure never got you down. The pressure motivated you is what I'm hearing.
Yes, yeah. Overall, and now my wife may say differently because she's my sounding board. I'll come home and say, "Oh, this isn't working," and so I have to give her props that she's like been steady.
What's your wife's name?
Amy.
You got to give a shout out to Amy.
Thank you, Amy. I love you. And she's
You're the first one to do this.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she's so steady. Like for me, my emotions can kind of take me around, especially when you work for yourself. It's like there's a lot of self-doubt there, whether you say it or not. It's like, did I do the right thing?
You're obviously a guy of faith. So I mean, how did that play into all of this?
Oh, and my faith obviously kind of propels me forward. I'm glad you asked the question because I think there have been a lot of really challenging things, especially last year. So I don't mean to skip forward here.
Hey,
last year was kind of the year that I like gutted the bank building. So I own this bank building downtown, and I might be skipping forward.
You bought the building?
I bought the building back in 2017. So.
Wow.
15,000 square feet.
Wow.
Huge. It's huge. But I was originally the downstairs, and I gutted the downstairs. It got it down to the original brick, like metal columns, everything. It was a really big thing, but there was a lot of challenges, and there was like contractors walked off the job. I'm like, I don't know if I can afford to finish this. Like, and so to answer your question about faith. If I didn't have faith at that time, I would have crumbled. I mean, there were mornings, and I'm just being vulnerable here. I mean, there were mornings where I was like weeping because I wasn't sure how I was going to get through this whole renovation. I do think having my faith is like, especially when I feel really low and things are just not working, it's like I can turn to God and I do feel that comfort, and that means everything to me.
I love that answer. I think, I always feel like everybody's got to have something. There's got to be something to lean on, right? The old story of footprints in the sand.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It was then that I carried you.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's things like that keep you going. And I love it that you said that too. We're not here that long.
No, we're not.
We're not. And when I see people, we've got a great team here. But outside of here, if you could imagine working at a Manhattan agency, you come across a lot of vipers, and there's a lot of backstabbing. There's a lot of people that want your job. You got to have something to lean on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wish that for everybody because it's tough out there.
Well, the truth is, everybody's gonna let you down at some point. I mean, we're all human, so it's like if you're
not Amy.
No, Amy's never made any mistakes. Trust me.
Hello, Amy.
No one's. No, but I think if you put your reliance on a person, you're gonna be let down.
Oh yeah,
it's just gonna happen.
No doubt about it. And we weren't made to take on much of other people's pressures. I wanted to get into your Japanese guitar company.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
It's
a crazy story.
How did this come about? Because
it's so funny.
It is. I got to tell you. So Jake and the guys are out there looking at your site right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So like I said, don't give them a discount. If you're going to give a discount, you give it to me because I play guitar, but I suck.
Okay.
But how do you? Where did you know about the products over there?
Oh man, it's okay. I'm gonna try to do my best to tell the story here.
All
Okay,
right.
so track with me here. 2019, I had a customer from Fort Wayne purchase an old vintage guitar amp from me. So he said, "Hey, can I come in person? I don't want to ship it. Whatever, that's cool." So he came in, picked up the amplifier. He said, "Hey, my name's Ron. I've got these contacts in Japan where like I need people to help sell these guitars for me on consignment." And it's like, "Are you interested?" I was like, "Well, yeah, of course." Like,
did you even know that there was a difference?
So yeah, I mean, as far as like the difference of like Japanese guitars and
so you were aware of the product.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Japanese guitars, I mean, for those who don't know guitars very well, so like US guitars are the, typically like the best, like top tier. Japanese guitars are like right below that. So especially when it comes to vintage, because the vintage market, there's, like I would say the US and the Japan stuff are kind of like, that's what people look for, right? So anyways, I just kind of felt that in the back of my mind. I didn't really know the guy. I just had met him for like a brief moment. And then so fast forward to, it was like the end of 2020 to maybe 2021. I get contacted. It was either through like the website or a phone call. And Ron's like, "Hey, I had that conversation with you about the Japanese guitars. Are you still interested?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" I mean, it's like, for me, it's free inventory. You really can't go wrong with just having some extra stuff coming in. So
how were they selling it before that?
Well, so they did some of it themselves.
Okay.
And so I guess maybe let me give a little bit of background on Ron really fast.
Yeah,
so sure. He lives in Fort Wayne, but at the time he was working for Mitsubishi. So his main office was in Tokyo. So he'd be traveling to Japan like maybe once or twice a month.
Mitsubishi 3-diamond.
Yeah. So he spent a lot of time in Japan and he made a lot of contacts there. And he realized, so he was like a hobby musician, but he realized that there was this weird thing in Japan where they just had like a lot of used guitars just like sitting in storage. It's interesting because, and I guess it makes sense logically. It's an aging population. They're a very small country as far as landmass size.
Oh yeah.
So storage is a big thing for them that like they have an issue with that we don't have an issue with. So he realized there's a lot of this really quality gear you can get for pretty good prices. Bring it back to the States, and then you can have a good markup. So he got hooked up with a big company over there where they do a lot of consignment. Okay, let's go back to where we were earlier as far as like, I was going and picking up like 24 guitars at a time, putting it in the back of my 93 Ford Explorer, hoping I make it home because it's an old beater. It was a great car.
We've all been there, man.
I love that.
We've all been there.
I love that.
I wasn't hauling guitars, but we've all been there.
And it's funny because I'm like, these guitars are 5 times the value of my car. So anyways, I get them back, clean them up, resell them. And I did that for about a year. And so after that, sometime in 2022, Ron said, "Hey, I've got my personal music shop, like my personal collection. Like I want you to take over that."
What kind of how much?
It was like how many guitars? It was at the time, I think it started like 300 guitars.
What?
It's a pretty good size
Yeah.
inventory. And so we had just built that relationship where we trusted each other. And so he said I was the only person he really trusted to run the business for him, which was really like an honor to hear him say that. But then, so I did that for 3 years. It was, at the time it was branded Ron's Gear Garage. Understandably, it was his
Ron's
stuff.
what?
Ron's Gear Garage.
Gear Garage.
Ron's Gear Garage, kind of, just a basic kind of like that was his name he ran with. And, So, but it was all vintage Japanese guitars. And so a lot of this stuff would come they'd come in like, DHL boxes, like 10, 14 guitars at a time. But then we got into like getting these big pallets of guitars. So like then at some point it went to, I don't know, 2 or 3 pallets would show up with like 100 to 150 guitars.
Wow.
And those would all be, so it's like, it's crazy. It's a lot. Fast forward now to 2025. I've been doing this for about 3 years for him. And sometime in the fall, we just had a conversation about how he wanted to step away. He's an entrepreneur at heart. He was busy. He had like 7 other side businesses. He's like, I don't have the brain capacity to keep doing this. So we kind of came up with a contract. And so as of January 1 this year, I officially took over, rebranded it to Japanese Guitar Company because I think I was like, Ron's Gear Garage, it just wouldn't make sense.
Well, plus it probably, from a search standpoint, it might not make sense.
The SEO makes a lot more sense having it as Japanese Guitar Company. So I want to keep it really simple. People know what they're looking for.
Is there a niche for that?
Or? There's a huge niche. There are people geek out over that like crazy.
Really?
In fact, because we reopened the store, maybe I'm skipping forward. We reopened the store in end of January this year.
The grand reopening?
The grand reopening. So we did do grand reopening.
That's on my list of questions.
Okay, so I skipped forward.
Go.
So even just between end of January to now, I mean, I've had people come in that's like, I'm so excited you're doing Japanese guitars. Like people that have come in from like other cities, like, I can't believe you're doing this. This is so cool.
No way.
Yeah. And the inventory has gone. So it started with 300 guitars. We're at like 600 guitars for that business alone now.
In store.
So I've got them mostly away in storage. We have like a display wall of like 80 guitars, but most of them are put away in cases and bins and stuff. So we've got another pallet shipment coming of like 250 guitars in like a couple weeks. So it's just crazy.
Since you mentioned inventory, tell me your inventory. What do you all got in there?
Like as far as Japanese guitar company, it's like pretty much all vintage Japanese guitars.
I can't believe that you get that many.
Crazy. It's a lot. And then as far as copper cord, it's like a lot of the local stuff. So like, American made, Chinese, Korean.
Guitars only?
Mostly guitars, but we do a lot of other stuff like drums, amplifiers, pedals. So it's kind of just it's a little bit more of a hodgepodge.
Okay.
More of what you'd expect from like a local music shop kind of thing.
What's the square footage of the store itself?
The storefront itself, like what is visible to the customer, is about like 1,000 square foot. So it's not very big, like maybe 1,000 to 1,200 square feet. And that would include my workshop and like the sales floor.
Okay.
The whole second floor that I work out of is 5,000 square feet. So that includes all the storage rooms, where all the guitars are put away, but then also we've got like lesson space on the end at the end of the hallway as well.
Sure.
So it's all kind of, it's nice because it segments it really nicely for me. I can kind of keep things where they need to be.
Do you have trouble getting inventory of the Japanese guitars, or they're easy to find?
Oh, well, it's crazy. I actually get probably more than I need. And so the biggest problem I've had this year is just how am I going to keep up, which is an amazing problem. Like, I mean, I'm always behind.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You're in good company. Did when you were talking about the grand reopening, how did the community react?
Oh, it was great. Now, because I've been closed for so long, I just didn't really have many expectations. It just, Huntington's a small town, and there's a lot of people that care. But I just was like, I don't know what's going to happen. But it was wonderful. I mean, we had I'd say, for a small little guitar shop, I think maybe 80 to 90 people walked through the door in like a 4-hour span, which for us was good.
Pretty good.
It's really good, actually. But I'd say every day it's been like more and more people are finding out about it. It's mostly word of mouth. I mean, we haven't really even advertised that much yet, so we're kind of just still underground.
Well, how much of your business is in store versus online?
Yeah, that's the other thing. So it's 98% online. I mean,
really,
it might be 99% online. It will eventually shift. Because that's my long-term goal and why I like being close to Sweetwater is there's a lot of people that come out, from different states to visit Sweetwater because are they the biggest music retailer in the world or something?
They're number 1 or number 2.
They're up there.
They're
right?
up there.
They're huge.
Yeah.
And so it's a destination point. So
I couldn't believe I didn't know they were bigger than Guitar Center.
Oh yeah, they're huge. They're huge. And Guitar Center's kind of been on the decline for a while, but
yeah.
But no, so that's for me long-term since we do the same thing, but we fundamentally kind of do something differently. It's kind of like a draw where it's like, I'd like to get to the point to where people are like, you know what, well, I'm at Sweetwater. I'm going to go visit Japanese Guitar Company. Like I'm going to go visit like maybe one of the biggest collections of vintage Japanese guitars in North America. So for me, I think long-term is like, how do I build that regional pull?
It's so funny. Like, did you know that how confident were you that selling Japanese guitars was going to be a core business for you?
Oh, I had no idea.
How could you?
I mean, that's like, think about, so when I first opened up from 2014 to now, did I know any of this stuff was going to happen? I felt like so much stuff just kind of just made sense and fell into my lap. It was crazy. Like, again, even with just purchasing the bank building, it was like, that just kind of happened. I wasn't planning on it. It just happened.
Yeah, but I just love that as part of the story that you bought a building.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right? That's like that movie, We Bought a Zoo. I've never seen that. I love that movie. You were talking about, because Huntington, you probably got a pretty captive audience because you went to the university there, you bought a building there, you own a store there. Have you ever thought about moving out of Huntington?
Absolutely not. No, and this is my encouragement to those. I think it's a very normal thing to grow up in a small town and say, like, I got to get out of here. I got to go to the big city. There is value in staying where you're from.
Yeah.
And I would say for me, I have endless connections of people that I know because I was born and raised in Huntington. And a lot of people into some connections I may not even remember because like they remember me as like a baby, right? And so like, oh, I saw you, I saw you growing up.
You're good. Buy a guitar for me.
Yeah, right? Buy a guitar now. No, make yourself useful. Buy a guitar. Yeah. No.
Make yourself useful. Hey, get in here. Give me your wallet.
No, but yeah. Anyways. So,
but I think that's wonderful. You know, I'm the opposite. I've moved all over the place, and I think I see my friends that stayed back in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
But I see my friends that stayed back there. They all still know each other. They all still know. I think the older you get, the more that you appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
I think you know it's. You can go home, and I think when I go home, it's always interesting to see those old places that we used to hang out at, and you know you've seen changes in there for my God, Huntington is on the rise.
It is, and a lot of people don't give it credit, but I think Huntington is like it's getting really nice.
You know, we're going to be winding down and getting into the rapid wrap up, but you know, I wanted to know like how do you define success? And I know it sounds like a generic question, but I think it's twofold because it's success in life on one hand and success in business. So how do you know when you've hit that critical mass point that, yes, this is working and it's successful?
That's a really good question. So just the plain Jane normal answer for a business is, are you cash flowing as a business? Like, are you able to pay the bills and some? So that's, you know, there's that side of it. But for me, when I really think about success, I think about what kind of a father and a husband am I? Yeah. And I think for me, I want to be more of a giver than a taker. Now that's difficult to do because, you know, I think as human beings, we want to take.
I'm a taker.
We're all takers, I think, by nature.
I can feel the heat coming from Hannah over here.
No, so I think how my, you know, so for me, success really is how am I preparing my children? How is the pulse on my family? You know, so I think there's so many people that they pursue success. So, and they do such a good job with their businesses and they come home and they're a failure. Yeah. And so for me, I think you got to have balance. And if you don't have balance, you know, I mean, that you've got to figure that out.
I love it that you said that. Yeah. Because people always, like I said, they run the gamut for watching the show. Mayors watch the show, and kids in school watch the show. What would you tell your younger self?
That's a really good question. I would say it's okay to make mistakes. And I think that we've been trained that making mistakes is bad. I mean, you make a mistake on a test, okay, you know, you flunked the test.
Get the red pen out.
Here's the truth of the matter. The only way you learn is by making mistakes. The best things that I've learned in life have been through my mistakes. So that's what I tell myself. It's okay. Yeah. Make those mistakes.
Okay.
You learn from it.
We're going to get a lot of feedback on that. I think that's great. So let me just ask you, what's next for you now?
Well, as I mentioned before, so YouTube's kind of like the new frontier. It kind of feels like YouTube feels like the Wild West to me. Yeah. So I'm learning that. It's been a really fun challenge. I think for me, it's just every day I walk in is like, how can I make this place better? How can I make this place something that if I was visiting it, I would want to stay and hang out? So that means like making it a regional destination. That means how do I make it to where if someone lives in Colorado and they'll never visit, they can still feel like they're part of the shop. So making that online presence to where it feels really welcoming and, you know, just kind of building this cool ecosystem that kind of runs itself, whether you're distant or close.
Well, that's why you did the coffee shop too.
And the coffee shop, yeah, like the whole ecosystem of the building kind of just works, you know. Yeah. So it's a cool vibe now.
Good for you, man.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy for your success too. And I'm really happy that Mayor Strick introduced us. So now it's time for the rapid wrap up.
Okay.
Okay. Ready for this?
No. Well, go ahead.
I've been ready for this whole thing. Okay. Are you a lake person or a hiking person?
So I don't really do either of those.
Okay.
But if I had to say, I would say hiking because for me, I feel like I've got to be doing something, you know?
Okay.
So I got to be walking.
All right.
You know?
Fair enough.
Does that work?
Nick's Kitchen or Pizza Junction?
They're both good, but I've got to say Pizza Junction.
Really? Okay.
So my family like that. That's like our go-to place when we get pizza. It's Friday nights.
I've eaten there twice. and I love it.
It's so good. And,
It's
it's right by the tracks. It's just super cool.
Listen, you're talking to a guy who's got a house in Chicago and lived in New York.
Okay, so you've got the best.
I got
best
pizza, and I got to tell you, I'd put these guys up against them.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, do you have a favorite song to play?
Okay, so it's difficult to answer this because I'm a bassist, and so playing bass by yourself is not that much fun. But I will say the song that I go to all the time when I'm testing guitars is "Fans" by Kings of Leon, and mostly because it just has like a lot of big open chords.
Oh,
so it's just like a good way to test a guitar.
Okay. And what is your favorite aspect of your business?
I think any aspect that challenges me, which is a lot of it. So I'm like, to give just one answer might be kind of difficult, but like whenever I'm faced with a challenge, that's what I enjoy.
Good for you.
So,
David, I got to tell you, man, I'm so happy that we've met.
Yeah.
I can't believe the discount you're about to give me on a guitar.
100%
wow.
off.
Just this is what I do. That's the reason why we started this show, is so I could get discounts from everybody who comes.
Hey, I think that's not a bad way to do it. I would do it if I could.
Dude, I'm very, very happy to meet you, and I'm very proud of your success. Good job.
So much.
And I got to tell you, I hope things continue to go well for you, because I think they're gonna. You're a great guy.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, David.
Yeah.